You can always get in contact with anybody there. It just gives us confidence, we staff.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Business as Unusual show. I hope you're doing okay on Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. I hope wherever you are, everything is going okay and at least getting to enjoy a little bit of the sun. We've got a fantastic show today. We're going to be talking loads about productivity, the impact of working from home. So there's going to be some really kind of cool things that hopefully will be useful for you to take to your businesses. So this is a week where we have seen, oh gosh, I've lost my notes. Hold on one second. There we go. Right, we've seen a week where Jeff Bezos has seen his fortune soar by $13 billion in a single day. Anybody jealous about that one? We have also seen deserved pay rises for public sector workers announced by Rishi Sunak, but nurses and paramedics and cleaners are left out of that initial one. Interesting times there. We have seen President Donald Trump admits that the pandemic will get worse before it gets better. Interesting. Sounds like fake news, but apparently it's true. He's adopting more of a measured approach towards the coronavirus as the rates spike in America. It has been a hell of a week, and it's only Wednesday, but let's get over hump day together with another Business as Unusual. Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Luke. I'm the CEO of Sleeping Giant Media and Giant Campus, and we focus on getting relevant traffic to our clients' websites. So if you are on our social channels, do please check out our content. Got loads of stuff to help you make those first steps into digital or take your digital marketing to the next level. So do feel free to say hi in chat. We are live across social channels, possibly Facebook, not sure, had some issues with that one, but anyway, we're on LinkedIn, on YouTube as well, so please do say hi in the chat, and any questions that you do have for Linda, please do put them in there. So let's introduce Linda. Could you give us a bit of an introduction to yourself? Who are you, where you're from, what's your area of specialty?
Good afternoon, Luke. Yep, I'm Linda Garcia. My business is Luxi Consulting Limited. I am a business productivity specialist. I had quite an extensive career in management consulting internationally and came back to the UK basically to put my kids through or to start school. A bit difficult running around the globe with two children in tow. And 5 years ago, I thought I'd bring my core skill set back and bring some productivity expertise to the SMEs in Kent.
Awesome. And so how long have you been back in Kent for now?
Oh, we came back in 2003, so it's like 17 years.
17 years, crikey. Okay. Yeah. And why Kent? Why Kent out of interest?
I was born in Aylesford.
Oh, okay.
So I've come full circle back round to come back home.
Fantastic. And how did you find the sort of the global aspect, the travel? What were the highs, what were the lows, what were the sort of the challenges?
Well, when you're young, free and single, it's brilliant. I basically decided that I wanted to work in management consulting because I had quite a few contacts doing it, and all they kept saying was how brilliant it was because you get to travel so far.
Yeah.
And so that worked out. So I spent the best part of the 90s running through well, initially sort of Europe and the States, and then I was posted down to Chile in South America,
wow.
where the business was grown from there.
Mm.
Yeah, that was quite an experience. Came home with a husband, 2 kids, and a 40-foot container. And via South Africa for 18 months. So I was in South Africa as well.
Amazing.
So I was consulting to some of the businesses down there.
Yeah.
The grueling part was, and that's where it became more difficult with children coming along. It's quite an intensive career. You have to be sort of prepared to get on planes on Sunday nights, Monday mornings, stay away for most of the week.
Yeah.
Or if you're intercontinental, I'd be away for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And I gradually burnt myself out. So that's when we had to take a bit of a life decision. And both myself and my husband gave up our respective careers because, hey, what the hell? And came back to the UK in 2003.
Awesome. Oh, fantastic. And so, how's the last, obviously, these are kind of pretty challenging times that everybody's kind of going through. What's the sort of last 3-4 months been like for you, for your clients? What are the sort of the key bits that you've observed or can take away from it?
I think one of the big takeaways that I was actually starting to recognise is that businesses have got to have some sort of financial cushion. Obviously, when you're first starting up, if you're a sole trader or a small business, a medium business even, a lot of people don't understand that if you've got a limited company, it's one of your directors' duty of governance is to make sure that you have an operating reserve. Sorry if that all sounds a bit financial and plummy, but that is where I think this situation and this crisis really started to highlight how few businesses have actually considered that something this serious could go wrong and cause such a fragile situation, which and I have to say all credit to the government. I think they've stepped up massively, especially in comparison to some of the initiatives that have been, or the lack of initiatives from other countries' governments. So yeah, I think that the one biggest thing that businesses have got to start sitting up and taking notice of is it's worth having, even if it's just 3 months operating reserves or 3 months worth of salary stashed away somewhere that you don't dip
touch
into when. Yeah, it can't be something that has to prop up your cash flow.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I think I can only really speak for our business because I don't really get to see the internal financials of other businesses. But, I think there was always a case of, we've run it quite cautiously to try to keep some of that money back. And we've always said for a rainy day, we've never really known what a rainy day is until about 3 months ago, if you know. It's and wow, has it kept on pouring as well? I mean, it's
sort of a monsoon.
It is a monsoon, yeah. I mean, if it is a monsoon, the positivity is it will probably last for a short period of time and then it'll be really sunny again. Let's hope it is actually sort of that in a sort of a lot of rainfall and an afternoon and sunny the next day. But I mean, do you think that this kind of last 3 months, do you think people will change their habits in terms of how they operate businesses, in terms of that kind of almost now just new awareness of the possibilities of these real challenges that again, because we hear this may not be the last time we see a global pandemic, in the next 10 years.
Yeah. Well, they're not even sure that this one's going to be finished. There's the talk of the second spike, etc., etc. But yeah, I think that if that's one of the positives or a silver lining that we have to be recognizing could come out of this crisis, is that where businesses have had to basically start working from home, I don't think in the long run that will become the new norm completely. I very much feel that there is going to be a hybrid situation because in the first sort of 2, 4 and 6 weeks, it was very much a novelty. People who do have long distances or long commutes were starting to recognise, bloody hell, I've got sort of 2 or 3 extra hours in my day to actually enjoy my family, get up, have a more leisurely breakfast, maybe be involved.
I thought you were going to talk about productivity there. I thought you were going to straight in. I thought you were going to go with there's another 3 hours.
No, well, it's linked because if people have got a better work-life balance when they are working, they're more likely to be much more awake, much more in control, much more focused because, and having done sort of intercontinental commutes, you sort of get into the client or into the workplace on a, 7:30, 8 o'clock on a Monday morning and you're exhausted to start with. And so the people that are moving from those long commuting environments into a work from home, I think that, as I was saying initially, that was a real sort of novelty experience. And I've spoken to a lot of small business owners and medium-sized businesses who have said, yeah, we've definitely seen a massive uplift in productivity because people, one, you're not getting all the round the coffee machine chats, walking 5 floors down to the printer, God forbid if you've still got paper in your businesses. And so people were much more focused because they've got less distractions.
Yeah.
However, as time has evolved over the sort of into month 2 and month 3, and now into month 4, I was reading an article yesterday that Microsoft have published, because they've got so much human resource, they can do lots of research on how their people are feeling, and they're actually starting to recognise that their employees are starting to feel isolated, in the true sense of the word, no pun intended. Because they don't have those sort of daily interactions with people around them, which can also help productivity.
Yeah. Well, it's
a
bit
of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, a bit of decompression time. I think that's the the bit I have to say that I had a small drive to the office, but it I don't have any drive now. It's literally just like it's work straight into family, and there's no time to kind of just like let the kind of the brain cool down into kind of the next one. We're going to talk a bit more about productivity. There's a few people saying hi in chat, loving it on LinkedIn. It's the right platform for the show. Thank you very much. I'm only seeing you as a LinkedIn user, so I don't know who they are, but apparently it's Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Thank you very much for that. We are just going to jump to a bit of a game here. It's all about productivity. I know that you're the master of productivity.
The productive quiz.
Productive quiz, if there ever was such a thing. We shall find out. Okay, which one was built faster, Disneyland in California or Disneyland in Paris? What do we think?
Am I allowed to give my half penneth worth?
No, please do. Go. No, play along in chat. But Linda, what do you think? You're the master of productivity.
I suspect it was Disneyland Paris.
Let's have a look.
But it's bound to be the red herring.
Would you believe it took 4 years? But apparently Disneyland California was 1 year, and we were chatting about this earlier. Apparently it was 364 days or something. And
literally just on the cusp.
So it was under a year, but which I find mind blowing because that those places are huge.
Is that then therefore much smaller than the Euro Disney? Having never been to Euro Disney,
know.
By the way,
I mean,
I've been to Californian.
Have you? I thought that Disneyland Paris was much smaller than California, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's a case of they declared it as built when they built one thing, and they were like, yes, it's built, and actually they just kind of added it over a period of time.
The French have more coffee breaks.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. This is being broadcast internationally on social channels. I'm not going to go there. Moving on quickly. Which book was written quicker, do we think? Lord of the Rings or Gone with the Wind? What do we think?
Gone with the Wind.
Let's have a look. Yes, 10 years, 17 years to write Lord of the Rings. I think that's about how long it's taken me to read it, and I
was going to say exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
it's not a natural choice that I would have picked up.
I do love the films, and I can see Ant, my business partner, in the chat. He will already start telling me the book's way better, so I'm waiting for that to appear in the chat shortly. But I really struggle. The names in the book just kind of, they're tricky.
Oh, don't you find yourself just skipping over them?
I can't. I just can't keep up with it.
Your brain is just going.
Exactly. I can't keep up with. Was it Gimli, son of Glory? And they go off on about 7 different names. But anyway, right. That's my beef. But I love the films, and I think they're awesome. Right, moving on. Randy Gardner, no sniggering, please, holds a record for the longest time without sleeping. But how long did he stay awake? Very productive, clearly. Very productive in the time that he was awake. How many days in a row did he stay awake for?
I'm gonna say 3.
This one shocks me. 11 days. I don't.
That's interesting because I'm a biologist, and scientifically, I was thinking that the sleep deprivation.
I know. Would surely drive you mad, wouldn't it?
Gone on. Yeah.
That's.
Did they survive? I don't know whether Randy's a woman or a man.
That's a good point. I don't know. It might have been the last thing that
I can guarantee you something. They wouldn't have been very productive after 11 days.
they would not be. They would not be at all. Yeah, that is a mad one. That one. Christopher Lee is renowned for his many movie appearances. How many films does he have under his belt? How productive has he been in the film industry?
Good grief. How old was he?
He was,
92,
was he?
93, so 2 a year.
He was also in Lord of the Rings.
186.
186. I'm afraid it was 276 films.
I'd say that was the movie directors were the most productive then.
They've
got them banged out really quickly.
Unbelievable that. Unbelievable. Speaking of reproduction, guess the record for the most children born to one woman. I know the answer because I had to resize this screen. What do we think? In chat, guys, throw some numbers in chat. What do we think? What do you think, Linda?
I'm just trying to think. 12, maybe 16, 48 times 2.
I love the science that you put into this.
90? Well, you've got to think like they've got a gestation of 9 months, possibly get back onto it within 3 months. That's 1 a year of over 40, 50 years. Okay, maybe. But she might have had twins and triplets. So I'm going to say 7.
Wowzers. This is a lot. Right, let's have a look. It was 69 children.
Oh, I'm so close.
Goodness me.
And is that the family photograph?
That is a family photograph. I mean, that in itself must be difficult to coordinate. I mean, it's like trying to get our team together is just impossible, let alone getting kids together in a group. It'd be madness. Would you believe it? We have reached the halfway mark. Would you believe it? We're back in, right. Okay, we are... I can't believe where the time's going, to be honest with you. We need to be more productive with this interview. That's what we've got to kind of focus on right now. So tell me, what are the pitfalls? We sort of started talking about it just before there. People initially, when they're working from home, really kind of good start for productivity because they were around, they were missing out on the kind of the water cooler conversation, the coffee machine, that sort of stuff. But what happens month 2? What happens kind of month 3? And potentially, you talked about the hybrid approach. How do you achieve productivity without burnout and isolation in that system, in that kind of hybrid approach?
I think one of the things that started to come across through conversations and talking to my clients is because people were working remotely, that then forced the manager or the business owner to have to start talking to each individual or their teams more frequently. And one of the heart of the management control systems that I'd sort of design and develop for businesses is the point where people actually talk to each other, which often surprises business owners that oh no, I've actually got to talk to my team members. And my big sort of thing is that every team member deserves a one-to-one with their manager at least weekly, whether that's half an hour, 45 minutes. And that should actually do away with the need for the annual performance appraisal, because that would be considered and they would be understanding how they're developing and what they need to do. And they could be using their manager to help them succeed, which is effectively the job of the manager. So, it started to come around that, now we're having our regular morning team get together, and I'll speak to each of my team members once a day or once every other day. That, I think, is probably the biggest shift. That is a positive shift that managers are making, is understanding that now you've actually got to speak to your team, because you can't just stick your head across the desk or put your face around the door to find out, is everything all right? Yeah, all's good, and they wander off. So that's been a real positive. In terms of moving forward into the hybrid situation that I personally feel is going to happen, is because some people are actually alluding to not wanting to work from home full time. I believe that more businesses will start to sort of create this hybrid option. Well, you can work from home for 2 days, come into the office for 3 days. I know, for example, one of my clients, a well-known couple running the web design agency in Ashford, they're already moving to 4 days working from home, and they've now given back half of their office space, and they're just doing a team meet once a week in one of the team conference rooms, so that they have got that face-to-face interaction. So that's how I see business is going to move forward in the longer run. Obviously, the whole property and availability of office space is going to become another big question, and how much that could affect the economy. But hey-ho, we need lots of housing, and I prefer it wasn't being built on green green land. So there's lots of offices out there that they'll probably start changing use to residentials.
That's true.
But that if that actually, if this whole coronavirus process has started to get people talking to each other more frequently, although it has to be more focused. And I think, some of the blogs that I've been putting out over the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks has been giving people the mechanisms. How do you run those team meetings so that you're actually ensuring your work is getting pushed through and you're still billing what you can with the resource that you're essentially paying for, is what productivity is.
Apologies for that. My productivity levels have just been hampered. I had a small child entering the room, and I'm kind of desperately off scene trying to do this and texting the wife to say that the girls are attacking. So apologies for that one.
Don't apologise.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the question would be how... in that remote environment, so just to give you a kind of hypothetical, or in fact, to give you kind of one of the challenges I think that we face as an organisation. In the real world, you get to see everybody. You have a team meeting, you can walk around the office, you can say hi to people. But in this format, so we do daily communications with our team, but it's essentially one of the senior team broadcasting to the rest of the team, and it's difficult to get too much engagement because people just watch. And I don't get to speak to the same number of people as I used to, because there's almost because it's much more of a structured format where they hear, they listen, but they don't necessarily engage. And we try to draw that out and obviously kind of involve them in some kind of format. But how do you sort of address that challenge within the sort of the communication piece and the productivity piece?
I think you have to reduce the number of people that you're getting on any one call. If you are, there's outbound communication, and then there is inbound communication, and then there is inclusive communication. I'm not a communications expert at all, but what the description that you're sounding of, getting that information out to the teams is only one small part of managing. And it's interesting, you alluded to doing that walk around the office, saying hi to people. That is what I call part of passive management, which is necessary, but it shouldn't completely overtake active management. And active management needs to be that team building, team engagement process. So maybe smaller teams, or appointing people as a supervisor or a team leader that would then be asked to, can you check in with your teams, get everybody on a call just for 5 or 10 minutes, get the 3x3x3. What are the 3 good things that have happened? What are the 3 things that you've actually completed today? And what are the 3 things you're going to do tomorrow to get the team involved, but focused?
Yeah, and to be honest, I think so that we have the kind of senior team, we have managers, so we have the sort of the team structure in place to sort of enable that. Hopefully, that those sorts of things to happen, ensure that feedback loop is in place. I think the bit that I find sort of more difficult in a remote environment is obviously I try to communicate through that senior management teams so that they then relate to their team. So I don't want to bypass them, because if I bypass them, I kind of miss that. And then there's, you cause kind of issues with kind of workflows in there. And I think that was the bit that was kind of, I'm finding difficult in the remote format. It's kind of, losing touch with some of those team members who I would normally, check in with and talk to and, have more of a personal relationship with, which you just don't seem to kind of get in this format as much as you do in the real world.
Yeah. But I would actually argue whether that is you feeling that it's a bad thing, and whether the rest of the team are actually worried about whether they've spoken to Luke today.
Yeah.
If you've set that precedence, because if you grow your business to the point where you've got 100 people, 150 people, you're never going to be able to get to meet each of those people and say a quick hello, even over a week. That's a lot of management by walkabout. So
I like walking though. I like to go. I've got to get my steps up. But no, I know. I hear you. I hear what you're saying there. Absolutely.
And these days, you can walk around the office with like 3 devices in your hands and be doing your management controls at the same time.
Totally.
Can't you?
Productivity. Productivity.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But one of the tools that I do promote is there's a survey tool called the Engagement Multiplier, and that is actually a survey that is done every 90 days, which a lot of people sort of go, oh, that's too frequent. Well, if a year is a bit too far, and the Engagement Multiplier actually allows people to managers to measure the engagement levels of all of their teams, and it's anonymous, so it's broken down. You can have it by department, by hierarchy, by teams or whatever. But they're also then asked for some responses to specific questions. So, for example, what are the 2 things that your leader could do to help improve the engagement in the organisation, for example? And then people can put in, their
Stop
live
walking
comment.
about. Stop trying to say hi.
Possibly, yeah. Switch the phone off. But the principle is then that as the manager monitoring that survey, you have the facility in the dashboard to start communicating still anonymously with the individuals and based on the comments that are coming back. And every quarter, the idea is that you might set up 2 or 3 actions that you and your management team are going to implement that is actually listening to and acting on the ideas or the suggestions that come through from your team. Now, obviously, that needs a little bit of managing and checking that, we can't please all of the people all the time.
Yeah.
But that is a very good way to find out how are your teams feeling about the communications in your business. If they haven't got the opportunity or the business is, a little bit too big or you're too far apart to actually talk to each other, then, there's a lot of organisations. Sorry, I'm not chucking you off. There's a lot of organisations who are doing maybe, the once a week team quiz, like you've got what do you call it? Luke, Carl and Joe were doing beer, like pub quiz nights.
Oh, I see. Yeah, quiz nights.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's can you do a lunchtime 15-20 minute social?
Well, the guys are doing a walk around tonight as well. So if you're in the Folkestone area, our team will be strolling around. We have a walking club on Wednesday nights. So they're going to be catching up. But has
that just started recently? As you've been allowed to get out onto the streets, and I see it
exactly.
wearing masks. And
yeah, groups of 6. So yeah, absolutely.
Cool. There you go.
Just a quick. There's a question in the chat, which is, what's the best bit of advice you've received in your career from someone else that's dramatically improved your productivity or inspired you to work in that area?
I was often told to shut my mouth, which is, sometimes listening can be the most productive thing to do. That again is, management skills. It's not just, I don't just do the hard skills of what is a forecast, what is a plan, what is a report, but management skills include listening before you speak. I was once given a rule that if you want to get the answer to a question, then you have to, I was training my consultants, was the answer can only be yes, no, or a number, or I don't know, in which case you tell me, I'll go and find out.
Okay.
That is also, the consultants training into management consultancy, it applies in any organisation. If the manager's asking the right question, they will either get, it will be a yes, no, or a number answer.
I like it.
Bit frivolous.
I think we're trying that. We're trying to try that in our level 10 meeting on Monday morning. I'm just going to answer either yes, no, or just make up a number if I don't have it to hand. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's got to be traceable and auditable.
Okay, good to caveat that one. Right, just jumping to this because we are quickly running out of time. But I know in the world of productivity, there are a lot of quotes, a lot of good ones and bad ones. So we want to just get your view on whether you like them. So this is like snog, marry, avoid. So do you like the quote, love the quote, or want to avoid the quote? So let's have a look at what we've got. First up, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, from Wayne Gretzky. What do we think?
So what are my options?
That is the first one. I should carry on because it's a very good point. Seamlessly moving on to quote number 2. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with the problems longer, from Albert Einstein. And
avoid.
And quote number 3, do it, just do it. Yes, you can, just do it. Shia LaBeouf. Kind of aggressive.
That would get on my nerves.
Yeah, I think the GIF gets on my nerves, actually, just kind of going round and round. Yeah. So what have we got? We've got, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with the problems longer. Do it, just do it. Yes, you can, just do it. From Shia LaBeouf. What do we think? Which one do you like? Which one do you love? Which one do you want to avoid?
I would avoid the last one.
Yeah.
I would love you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Oh, that is so true.
Yeah, agreed.
And so Albert Einstein's would come in the middle.
Yeah, is the like. Avoid. Yeah, absolutely. That's the kiss.
I like.
The snog that you like that.
Oh, okay.
just to play the game rules. What are there any quotes that you've got for us that you think actually that you kind of live by?
The price of light is less than the cost of darkness.
Ooh, like that one.
And the guy that actually quoted that was Arthur Nielsen. Do you remember the Nielsen surveys?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Yeah, well, Arthur Nielsen was the founder of those marketing statistic ideas
Yeah.
back in the 50s. And, his quote is, the price of light is less than the cost of darkness, because if you have to pay to find the light, at least you'll have only paid once. And by that time, hopefully, you can avoid the cost of what it was you didn't know about.
Absolutely. No, it's a good one. I like it. Very good. We'll
Yeah,
have
I'll
to...
put that on the bottom of all my invoices as well, Luke.
Nice. Just to motivate them to pay. I like it. Good one.
Absolutely.
We are quickly running out of time. Just before we go, are there some businesses that you wanted to sort of shout out who are doing such a fantastic job sort of during lockdown that you wanted to kind of to call out?
Yeah, do you know what? The question I got asked was who's doing a good job on social media?
Okay, yeah.
There were two women that came to mind, actually. What a surprise. The first off is Jemma Fairclough Haynes. She runs Orchard Employment Law.
Yeah.
She has been so consistent and so helpful. And obviously, employment law has been, really high up on the agenda for many businesses. And the other person, also a female and equally feisty and spicy, is Vanessa Chalice of Tiger Law, based in Y. And again, because of all of the legal implications of what's been going on, she has been providing some really good LinkedIn posts. So both of those women, thumbs up from me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And we'll make sure we tag them in just because we want to celebrate people doing awesome things. I think, social media, particularly at the moment, is a great source of information to share kind of ideas and innovation. So we'll have to definitely check out their content. We are out of time, would you believe? Linda, you've been an absolute star. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I think this is your second show, although first live show today, but you did a pre-record, which was launched this morning, I believe, as well. So this is like, you're all over LinkedIn today. This is the Linda Garcia day on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I was a bit spooked by that. It's also my son's birthday today, whether that's got anything to do with
Big
it.
day.
The stars were all aligned.
Big day. Well, thank you very much. It's been great. And
I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks very much, Luke.
No worries. Fantastic insights there as well. So, guys, that is it from us today. We will be back here again Friday, 4:30. So please do tune in for that. Please do like and share the content as ever. So I hope you enjoyed it. We're living in some very, very strange times, but for all of us, it's just business as unusual.